Hello guys, in this video we're doing factorization. So I want us to start by doing factorization by taking out a common factor. So we are going to do some few examples of number 1, xy squared plus x cubed y power 5. So what we do, we look for the highest common factor between the two terms. So in this case we have two variables, x and y variables. So we can check what is common between x and x cubed. So we can see the highest common factor between x and x cubed is x. You take the one with the smallest exponent, so that is going to be x. That's our common factor. Then between y squared and y power 5, you take the one with the smallest exponent, which is y squared. Then we open bracket. So what happens when we factorize? The rule is we divide all terms by the common factor. So meaning we are going to divide xy squared by our common factor xy squared, x cubed y power 5 divided by xy squared. So let me do it step by step. So I'm going to write this expression inside the brackets, then we divide with our common factor. So this is xy squared plus x cubed y5, then over xy squared over xy squared. X and x cancels, y squared and y squared cancels, leaving a 1. X cancels x in there, then we'll be left with x squared. Then y squared cancels there. You say 5 minus 2. These are laws of exponents. 5 minus 2 will be left with 3. So we're left with y power 3 like that. So our final answer will be xy squared open bracket 1 plus x squared y cubed. Number 2, 2x squared minus 10. So we have 2 and 10. So we find the highest common factor between 2 and 10. So we can see that our highest common factor is a 2. We take it out. X squared, we only have x on this term, on the first term. The second term doesn't have x. So x is not common. Then we divide the whole expression by our common factor, which is 2x squared minus 10 divided by 2 by 2. This is going to give us 2. 2 and 2 cancels, will be left with x squared minus 10 divided by 2, which is 5. So this is our answer. So this is how we do factorization by taking out a common factor. Let's go to difference of two squares. Difference of two squares. A square now is a number that has perfect roots. Let us have our natural numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The square of 1, we say 1 squared, meaning 1 times 1 we get 1, 2 times 2 we get 4, 3 times 3 we get 9, 4 times 4 we get 16, 5 times 5 we get 25. This is 36 going up. So these are perfect squares or square numbers, this here, and these are the roots. So if you say square root of 4, you get 2. Square root of 9, you get 3. Square root of 16, you get 4. So when now we say difference of two squares, it means we need to subtract. For example, 16 minus 9, we can do difference of two squares here. Yes, here we can just do 16 minus 9, we'll get the answer, which is 7. But we can do it by the method of factorization, because sometimes we'll be given terms with variables. This one doesn't have variables, it's okay, you can do it. But now, once it carries a variable, you can't do that. So let me add another one. Let's say we have x. The square of x will be x squared, like that. So if you do square root of x squared, you get x. So let us have an example. X squared minus 1. So what we do here, we can open two brackets like this. Then you find the square root of x squared, it's x. It's in both brackets like that. Then square root of 1 is plus or minus 1. So plus 1 or minus 1. Then we have factorized it. Number 2, x power 4 minus 81 is equal to, we open two brackets like this. Then we do the square root of x power 4. Square root of x power 4. Here on the square root there is a 2 that is there. So you say 4 divided by 2. This will give us x squared like that. So we have x squared like that. Then the square root of 81 is plus or minus 9. So plus 9 or minus 9. But we are not done. If you check here, we still have difference of two squares. X squared is still a square number and 9 is still a square number. Then here it's addition, so it's okay, it's done. So we can keep it like that, x squared plus 9. But this one need to factorize it further. Difference of two squares again. Square root of x squared, we get x. And square root of 9 plus 3 or minus 3. 3, 2x squared minus 8. If we check this one, 2 is not a square number, 8 is not a square number. But we have a common factor here between 2 and 8. So we need to start by taking out a common factor first, which is 2. Then we say 2x squared divided by 2, we get x squared. Then minus 8 divided by 2, we get a 4. Then now we have a square number and a square number. But we don't leave our 2, we keep it like that. Then we open our 2 brackets. Then we find the square root of x squared, it's x. Square root of 4, it's plus 2 or minus 2. So this is how we do the difference of 2 squares. Let us go to difference of 2 cubes. Difference of 2 cubes. Let us start by seeing what is a cube number. A cube number is a number that you obtain after multiplying a certain number 3 times. For example, if we multiply 1 3 times 1 times 1 times 1, we still get 1. 2 times 2 times 2, we get 8. It was 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 8. Then 3 times 3 times 3, it is also 27. So these are examples of cube numbers. Cube root of 27 we obtain it by finding a number that multiplies itself 3 times to give us 27. So in this case our answer is 3. So cube root of 8, we multiply it 2 3 times, so our cube root is 2. Cube root of 1, we multiply it 1 3 times, so we get 1 like that. So this is how we find cube root of numbers. If we multiply x times x times x, we'll get x cubed. So if we do cube root of x, so cube root of x cubed is equal to x. This was we multiply x 3 times to get x cubed. Let us have examples. Number 1, x cubed minus 1. So what we do when we do difference of 2 cubes, you open 2 brackets, a small one and a bigger one like this. So you find cube root of x cubed, that is going to be x. Cube root of 1, that is going to be 1. Then now we use this small bracket to make a bigger bracket. The first term of the bigger bracket, you square the first term of the smaller bracket, that is going to be x squared. And if this sign is negative, here inside the bigger bracket is going to turn to positive. Then you say x times 1, we get x. That's our middle term for the bigger bracket. Then we square the last term to get the last term of a bigger bracket. Minus 1 squared, we get plus 1. So this is our answer. Number 2, 8x cubed minus 27. 8 is a cube number, x cubed is a cube number, 27 is a cube number and a different sign. So we open 2 brackets, smaller bracket and a bigger bracket. Then we find cube root of 8, which is 2. Cube root of x cubed is x. Then minus cube root of 27, which is a 3. Then now we use this smaller bracket to generate terms in the bigger bracket, which is 2x squared. 2x squared, we are squaring everything, 2x squared like this. So this is going to give us 4x squared. Then if the sign is negative, here is going to be positive. Then you say 2x times 3, we get 6x. Then minus 3 squared is plus 9. That's our answer. Let us go to sum of 2 cubes. Sum of 2 cubes is almost similar to difference of 2 cubes, but what differs now is that the different sign is minus, and the sum, it means there's addition between 2 cubes. Let us have examples. Let's say we have x cubed plus 1. So we make our 2 brackets, small bracket and a bigger one. Then we find cube root of x cubed, that will be x plus cube root of 1, 1. Then we use this bracket to form the bigger bracket. So we square the first term, that is going to be x squared. If this sign was positive, it means to swap. Then in this bracket it will be minus. Then you say x times 1, we get x. Then 1 squared, that will be plus 1. That's our answer. Let us have another example. 3x cubed plus 192. 3 is not a cube number. 192 is not a cube number, but x cubed is a cube number. So what we need to do, we can try to check if there is a common factor. Let's divide 192 divided by 3, we'll get 64. So meaning 3 is a common factor. So we need to take out 3 first. That will be 3 open bracket x cubed plus 64. Then we say 3. We don't leave our 3. Then we open small bracket and a bigger bracket like this. Then cube root of x cubed, it's x. Cube root of 64, it's a plus 4. Then this smaller bracket will make a bigger bracket. We square x, that is going to be x squared. So in this bracket there is a plus sign, so in the next bracket it should be minus. Then we say 4 times x, we get 4x. Then 4 squared, which is equal to 16. That's our answer.